computer. All right, so welcome everybody to the May 2024 Idea Share. This is a really fun one because a whole bunch of us just got to spend a few days together in Orlando. So it's great to see everybody. It's great to see the people that I got to hang out with last week. It's great to see those of you that we missed being in person. So would anybody like to start us off with what's going on? Come on, people. Anyone? Really? Nothing? Doc.
I'll go ahead and kick
Okay.
off. I'll just share that Disability in the Church conference was phenomenal. Again, I'll just state here, I've already told you, but kudos to Beth and the entire team from Key Ministry. I thought it was the best one we've ever had, and if you weren't there, you guys truly missed out. But the one thing everybody has to go check out Lamar's final message to close out the conference. Probably the best I've ever heard Lamar, and it was impactful. It was powerful. It was unbelievable. So, that's the best thing. Probably one of the best things you could do is go hear Lamar's message. I think you guys have it up already on the thing, but it was fantastic. So go do that. But it was a fabulous conference. Glad to see several of you, and if you missed out, go check out all the ones that were on the quick takes and everything from the main stage. It was fantastic. Again, great job, Beth, and the entire team. Catherine, you too. You all did a phenomenal job.
Thank you for saying that, Doc. Thank you for sharing. So, and I don't mean this in any way about anything that we did, but I agree with you that was the best conference. The Holy Spirit was on the move. It was, yeah. And you have to listen to, yes, I agree. You need to listen to Lamar's message. It was just a really special time. And yeah, we missed you too, Amanda. Yeah, it was, I can't describe it. But yes, a few of the things that were supposed to live stream didn't live stream, but they will be up on the Key Ministry YouTube channel soon. Most of the quick takes are up there now. So if you go to keyministry.org, you can just click on the YouTube link, and we're getting those all together in a showcase. So yes, it was something pretty special for sure. Thank you.
Hey, Beth.
Yes.
Hi, my name's Amanda, and I was able to attend for my first time. I've never been to a disability ministry conference before, and I was blown away. I'm so thankful that I had the opportunity to go. And I work at a church in Texas, and I've been there for almost 2 years, and just trying to make things better for the children that we're serving and the kids in the ministry. We have adults and teens and children, but it was so helpful. And I think that there's just going to be so much good that comes out of it. And I'm just so thankful just so much of it was free resources that just blew me away, just to really better every single person that walks through the door. But it was overwhelmingly just with information, and I've been going over my notes and trying to go back and watch things that I really enjoyed or didn't get to hear because I couldn't choose more than one thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it was good. I loved it. And I hope I can come back again as long as you guys do them. But anyways, it was great.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. And it's great to hear from somebody who came for the first time. So we appreciate that. We're so glad that you took the time and effort to attend. And I'm glad you got a lot out of it. And we want to continue to hear about the fruit that comes from your time there. So
Yes.
Keep connecting with us and keep sharing. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Linda.
Yeah, so This is the first year that we were able to have Zoriana visit from, well, she's in Germany now, but she, it was a little hard for me to take photos, do stuff, help with them. And also she'd never been to Florida, so in the evening she wanted to see things. So it's like, I should have thought about this. And I don't go to the parks. We go to Florida all the time, like 4 times a year. I don't never go to the parks. But she really enjoyed it. She was able to, unfortunately her daughter couldn't come because of financial issues, but she was able to use her phone to translate, and she's very excited. But yeah, it was really good. I'm not sure we're gonna have it next year, but she wants to come next year. We would really like her to speak next year about how she did her ministry in a country that's doesn't look at disabilities, because they have no disabilities, because they just institutionalized all these kids, and how she's able to minister. She has a Telegram account with 500 parents on it from Eastern Europe, she told me. I'm like, what? And they were doing videos like asking me about what kind of fruit I eat. I'm like, yeah, if it's in pie, I eat it. If it's in jam, I eat it. I don't eat a lot of plain fruit. So it was like, they kept on videotaping whatever I was eating for some reason. And I'm like, okay. But, you know, she really, really enjoyed it. It was nice that the key ministry leaders wanted to meet her. And because she just feels like she just is one kind of person that a lot of times everything is pushed up against her. Like when the orphanage came into Germany and what she saw, she cried for 2 days because the condition these children were in. And you know, we visited with them in April. So, and it was nice having my sister and my niece there. She seemed to be able to find where candy was. So, I was like, I need some hard candy. My throat is sore and I have to talk and like whatever. But it was nice that a friend of mine that works with Access Ministry at another church, that also the reason I'm here is because her son got me to go to church by bugging me when he was 5 years old. He has hemophilia, and I went to get him to be quiet. And all likelihood, if God didn't put him in my path, I might not even be here physically because of my struggles with suicide. And it's something people have to talk about. I'm not ashamed of it. I'm not ashamed of the fact I used to cut. I don't cut anymore, but maybe speak about that. I finally wrote a blog about cutting. It took me 3 years of blogging to be able to write about this. So, but it was very great. It's just like, I should have thought, she wants to see Disney. I need to bring her in early. But I don't do all that stuff. So it's like, okay, but she got to go
Yeah. If we're in Orlando next time, you'll have to like hook up with somebody else and send her to the
yeah,
park.
I mean, and I was the one that had the car, and I was the one that only drove. So it's like, I can't do all this.
Well,
So
we were glad we were glad you were there with your entourage.
Yeah, no, I had like this whole entourage, and people were pulling me this way, and Timothy, and it's like, I want to take more photos. And like your colleague asked for photos. I'm like, well, I'm recovering from sinuses still. I'll get them done on Monday morning because I just didn't even have time. I normally process photos at night, and I hardly took anything because people were talking to me. They wanted to know about Zoriana. It was just like, I can't do all this.
Yeah. It was a lot of networking. And you know, when you're talking about like ministry leaders coming up wanting to meet Zoriana, Dr. Steve Gersovich's main stage presentation to kick off the conference on Thursday morning was called Not Alone. And really what he was talking about is how we're in this community together, and this is like, we are just like this idea, we are a support network and we are not alone. So thank you.
Yeah, I did see him, you know, and she was there. I had to run back to the hotel to get laptops because we wanted to show photos because I'm a photographer, and I'm like, oh, there's no TV here. I'll go get laptops. But yeah, it was really impactful. My sister never been to this. My dad called me and he's like, well, what kind of conference is it? I said, it's disability in the church. Well, why do they need that? Church should be doing this. I said, I understand that, Dad, and I know your church is doing that. They have it's a smaller independent Baptist church, and they have disabled kids and are just pretty much in the same groups. And
Mhm.
he said they hired a new pastor that adopted 2 kids with Down syndrome. I said, well, your church is doing the right thing.
Right.
There's a lot of places that aren't, and even in your backyard, there's churches. Because my friend Kim, she's at a different church than she goes to because they don't have it, and it's like, and he just is like, well, they should be doing that anyway. They don't need a conference. I'm like, well, yeah, they should be, you know. But that was kind of funny. I mean, I was just like, okay, Dad, you're on board here. But thank you for all the work you guys did, and I hope people enjoy the photos. I'm sorry I didn't get as many.
No, yeah,
But
we love whatever you can share with us. You're a very talented photographer, so thank you.
thank you. It's from shooting
Doc. Oh,
sports.
sorry.
Yeah, it's from shooting sports. I know how to shoot in those rooms because they're just so dark. But well, thank you.
Thanks. Doc, your hand is up.
Yeah, just wanted to share one other thing that was really pretty cool with the conference. I don't know if, those that were there got to do it, but Friday night went and saw the Make 'em Smile behind the scenes, and that was nice. But then I went back on Saturday, and I got to tell you, I was blown away. I've never, ever seen anything like that. I tip my hat to Tim and Marie Cook and Nathaniel's Hope. What was there was phenomenal. They had over 20,000 people out there celebrating disabilities and special needs. Every place you looked, there were individuals with disabilities. I heard repeatedly kids that were in wheelchairs and adults that were in wheelchairs saying, hey, look, there's other people that look just like me out here. And it was just awesome. One of my favorite things I heard that day too was, you all know the Meekins who are normally on here. I think they're still in the process of driving back home. But the Meekins, Amy Meekins was out there, and she got to be one of the VIPs out there. And I asked her how she liked it, and her reply was, "This is a party just for me." And that's really what it was all about. But it was phenomenal. And then, I'm going to give another shout out to Marie and just thank her from the bottom of my heart. They honored me and my family by allowing us to release a butterfly in the memory of my son, Mark, which was beyond emotional and touching for me. But just seeing how that city comes around, this is something that needs to be done in every single city. And I hope you all get to see that sometime. But it was truly phenomenal. And again, great job with disability in the church, timing it up with that, where I just want to say thank you again that I got to be a part of that and see it. I'm very thankful that I stayed the extra day to see it. It was very worth seeing.
Yeah, same, Doc. I mean, obviously I've known about Make 'em Smile. I've attended the Make 'em Smile that takes place in Ohio a couple times. I was not prepared for the scope, for the scale of the actual event. It was pretty amazing. To get a good picture, I know that like there's a lot on social media about it. Kim Botto, who was at the conference, and she posted a really good reel that gives you a good picture of, on Facebook, a good picture of like a whole bunch of different, like she kind of walked around and captured a lot of it. So yeah, it was pretty phenomenal, pretty amazing. Who else would like to share? Allison.
I mean, I just want to echo everything that everyone's saying. It was a phenomenal conference, and yeah, just the learning, the interacting, just seeing friends again. It was fantastic. But I was just going to ask about Make 'em Smile. How regularly do they do that? Where else are they based? Because I keep meaning to find out this information, and I think I've been told in the past, but I can't remember. So I'm just curious now. I
So
couldn't stay this weekend, which I was gutted for.
So I'll share what I know, and then anybody else feel free to jump in and correct me if I'm wrong. So it used to always take place right around Nathaniel's birthday. So Nathaniel was Tim and Marie Cook's son, who he now celebrates his birthdays in heaven. I think he passed away at the age of 4. And so his birthday is in early June, and it's always been in early June. and they moved it to the weekend that it was this year for a variety of reasons. Some of it has to do with the temperature. Some of it had to do with, I think, some other things that maybe were going on in Orlando. So I don't know if it'll be this weekend next year, but they do it in Orlando every year. And then there's in Ohio, it's a more rural area in Ohio, so it has a very different feel. But it's a wonderful event that takes place in Ohio each year. And that takes place, I'm looking at my bulletin board because I have a little thing. I forget when, it's like in June or July or something like that. And then California, and I'm not sure where in California, Al probably knows, has one that they hold at a zoo, which is really cool. I think, isn't it like a drive-through zoo kind of experience? And is there another one? Does anybody know?
She said Colorado too.
Okay, so that one must be new. Has that happened yet?
And they're trying to get several other cities to jump on board with it.
Okay.
And she said that they're open to do it anywhere. They'll share everything they do, and then each city obviously can make it unique for
Right, because
themselves.
I mean, like,
because
it can't be like
you're not gonna be
Orlando.
able to do what they do down there in Orlando. It truly was. And what really shocked me, and you know, being in disability, doing large events for disability, I think through a lot of things and very logistically, they truly thought through absolutely everything. Because they even had respite huts. They were tents where they had 2 adult changing tables inside that with an air conditioner that kept it at 70 degrees in there. They had cooling fans and everything in there so that these families could come in and change their individual if they needed to. And then at the same time, if they just needed to decompress and be quiet, they could go in there. So it really, every single aspect you could think of out there was truly thought of. And it was mind-blowing for me.
It really was. And Catherine shared in the chat that there's a Make 'em Smile North Carolina on the Nathaniel's Hope website in Gastonia on August 24th. So I highly recommend, if you are within driving distance of any of these places, just go check it out, go experience, volunteer, be a buddy. It's pretty cool. Who else would like to?
This was the 22nd year, I think they've been doing it. So, I mean, it was smaller when they started. So it hasn't always been this big. Pre-COVID, they were up to 30,000, 40,000, I think. So they're getting back again. During COVID, they had it around a safari a couple years. So yeah, they've adjusted as is needed. And they are willing to talk about other places. We're looking at doing one in New Jersey sometime. So we'll see.
So the safaris, I must have been thinking of that. That's the drive-through kind. And then, but the one in California, I believe, is at a zoo. Can anybody confirm that? Does that sound familiar to anybody? Well,
Yes, it's that. It is. Yeah, she said it is at a zoo, and they don't have to have as much entertainment because everyone can see the animals and go do that. So
yeah,
that's worked out really nice for them.
Okay.
I don't remember what city it's in though.
I don't either. Who else would like to share something? Oh, Moore Park Zoo, September 28th. Thank you. Catherine is on it today. So what do people have going on this month? Oh, Catherine.
Hi, is my microphone working?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, it's okay. Well, we just take off about five zeros from all those figures you've been hearing. And welcome to disability in France in the evangelical world. But since I saw you all last, we had our first adapted camp run in a French mountain area with a mission called Greater European Mission. And there were 11 children on the camp, 5 of whom had special needs. So it was a small beginnings, but it went very well. And we call, hang on, what a funny thing come up. Sorry. Yeah, we adopt the English word. We say buddy, so that's nice. So I'm reminded of you all during the camp because everybody's talking about their buddy, or however they say it in French. So that was really great. And then I've just come back from a weekend a few hours away in France, which is run by all the different Protestant family associations. Well, not all of them, but those that want to federate together. And it was on disability as well. That was their theme for the year. So there was lots of networking going, but obviously on a much smaller scale. But we have to start somewhere. So things are happening, and we'd be very happy to partner with anybody that's interested.
That's fantastic. And small is wonderful. I mean, it sounds like things are on the move. So that's terrific.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah.
And that sounds so beautiful. Camp in the French, what did you say, in the French mountains?
It's in the French mountains. Yeah, it was lovely. It was very nice.
That sounds
It's in the French Alps, actually, and it's really nice.
wow.
Yeah, I had some good connections, Catherine. We haven't talked yet, but about France as well. So there's some good leads for what's happening.
Yay. Well, this is fun. Linda.
Yeah, well, this summer with the Olympics, I work for the U.S. Blind Athletic Association, and I encourage anybody to look up blind soccer because it's pretty amazing. And it's amazing what blind athletes can do. I actually spend time with athletes, but also like with FCA, people have FCA in their area, look at their abilities camp. I'm really trying to encourage the Carroll County, the Central Maryland. I have a relationship with them to like maybe go to a group home, take some of these kids out with the high school 100 leaders and go do bowling or something like that. But all abilities, it's 1-day camp. It is awesome. And they have other groups come in. So if you have a ministry, that way parents can find resources. And it is a beautiful day. Unfortunately, I will be in Poland, so I can't participate in the one locally here, but check out your local FCA because they're starting to look for volunteers.
Yeah, so that's Fellowship of Christian Athletes, in case you're not familiar with the acronym. And it's a program that works with local high schools, but they have a heart for disability. I volunteered at the All Abilities Camp in Cleveland, and it was a really great experience.
It is really awesome how they get the high schoolers and maybe some middle schoolers to be like they're running around the field and they get like this experience. And
yeah.
I'm really trying to encourage I know the president of Maryland, and I have a really good relationship with him. And I'm like, they had a kid with cerebral palsy at Westminster High that was part of the FCA program. He used to lift weights and stuff, and he gives his testimony at All Abilities Camp. And I'm like, you really should like try to do something all year round, even like maybe in the winter, do something indoors, But
yeah, that's a great opportunity for some of these like-minded organizations to collaborate. I totally agree with you, Linda. That's very
now at the one in Central Maryland, they do have different groups come in that serve people with disabilities.
Mhm.
I mean, these different ministry leaders try to find out because parents need resources and they want resources. In the type of world we're in right now, you have to be careful because some of this stuff is kind of crazy, and you want a safe place to go to, especially if you're a Christian, you want a like-minded organization. So I would find out if they do allow it. I know Carroll County has when they had it there, but yeah, it is a fun day.
It is.
I'm disappointed. I'm going to be in Poland and Germany, so.
It's a fun day. It's a tiring day, but it's fun.
Well, I do know FCA Ukraine hosted 2 years ago in Warsaw, and I went to that. It was pretty fun. So they did have a All Abilities Camp there.
I love the international flavor we have going on with today's chat. Andrea.
Yeah, so I think last time we were on, I was getting ready to have the first meeting with other churches in the area where I live. And we did that. There were 5 other leaders that came from other churches to the first meeting. Only one of them is currently doing any kind of disability ministry. We had a great time. So today I've got to work through getting our dates on the calendar, and we're going to kind of just pick a topic each month and talk through it. But it was very exciting. I was excited with that, the response, to just be getting started. So just pray for us, and as I try to kind of head that up and lead it. And we need a name. If anybody has a good idea for a name for that.
All right,
I'm trying to
that
think
sounds
that
good.
through. Yeah.
So I want to say thank you for being a leader in your geographic region. I think it's really important that like the people that those of us gathering on this call, that we're like taking leadership in our own circle, in our own geographic area to really grow the disability ministry movement by collaborating, by lifting up other churches and just getting people on board. So thank you for being a leader. Anybody else have any regional collaboration going on? Catherine?
Well, hey, Andrea, I'm wondering if you had an opportunity to talk with Scott Habib from Masterpiece Alliance. Okay, because I would really encourage you to reach out to them, because they have, seems like they've got the secret sauce to this. They have, I don't know how long they've been at it officially as an organization, a few years, but the first time that he connected with Key Ministry was less than a year ago. And then the next time we connected with them, they had at least 3 or 4 more churches that were like part of the organization. So, they definitely have some momentum going. They've got a small staff. They're hosting events, and they have, like monthly kinds of meetup sort of things. I think most of them are in person, but anyway, he was at the conference presenting. So I will drop that in the chat. The gentleman's name is Scott Habib, and it's Masterpiece Alliance.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so Amanda shared in the chat that she hosts a Central Ohio Disability Ministry Leader Forum in partnership with Johnny and Friends. That's awesome. Johnny and Friends is doing a lot of great work, at least in our geographic area, for getting ministry leaders together to collaborate. So Catherine has shared, and we'll link this in when we post this on our Vimeo and YouTube channels, but it's masterpiecealliance.org. Scott Habib was one of the speakers. Actually, their team spoke at Disability in the Church 2024. Also, Linda has shared a link to her photos, and we will post that link. We'll be posting that all over the place, but we'll post that link with this recording as well. And we thank Linda for her sharing her time and talent with us. Skeeter.
Collaboration. Well, first of all, hello from Katie. I'm instructed to make sure that folks know that Katie is alive and well. She did survive the week. It was wonderful.
Loved having you guys there.
Well, one of the best things for us was our church, big church, sent 10 people to the conference. Most of them young, and most of them just getting started, and very wisely exposed them to a wide range of possibilities. I think that was neat. And we're talking collaboration. I thought for a minute that collaboration meant you didn't have to work as hard, but I think sometimes you have to work harder. We've got a couple of things coming up. One, we've got a golf tournament coming up. It started because Clay had a birthday, and Clay's body, the only thing works on Clay is his mind. Nothing else really works. And there was a birthday parade, and a bunch of us during COVID, the neighborhood paraded. We stopped and said hello. And the next year we went to a birthday party for Clay. But Clay's sister works for an engineering firm here in town. And Thursday of this week, they're going to put on their second golf tournament for the benefit of David's Table. It goes further than that. It's all Jesus' fault. But is Clay in the midst of this, the person that nobody thinks would be able to do anything, has brought a group of folks together. The golf tournament's going to be fun. We'll raise a little money. But I think one of my favorite things is I get to play with First Episcopal Church here in Greenville, and they've got to figure out how to spend $10,000 on disability ministry in an old historic sanctuary. I mean, it's just, you could spend $10 million and not make the place accessible. But the associate rector has a son who is brilliant and significantly on the autism spectrum. Brilliant, but socially awkward. Well, he's finishing up a mechanical engineering degree in December, and we were able to work with the same engineering firm, and we have him a summer internship, gets paid, and the fun parts of it have been things like the whole company has been through training, knowing that this fellow's going to come. The conversations after he interviewed were a couple of the engineers I was talking to, and they were saying, the guy's brilliant. And, we only have one engineer in the whole office who has a personality. He'll do great. We are able to put him in a wonderful situation just because Clay had a birthday and Jesus got involved. The second thing, and I'll make this the last one unless I go crazy. In May 18th, our friends, our adults with disabilities, are serving Young Life Capernaum in 2 different areas, putting on a day camp at a horse ranch. Now, that, don't think Western horses. We're not going riding.
Okay.
But we will serve high school and middle school folks with disabilities at this day camp. And I'm excited about our friends having an opportunity to serve. They're used to being served, maybe sometimes a little bit too much. But this time we will take a good group of our friends to serve high school and middle school friends with disabilities. It's been a neat collaboration with Young Life Capernaum.
I love that. So thank you, Skeeter, for sharing. So first of all, I'm a big fan of David's Table, as you know. But I love that you're taking the opportunity to help. You're creating opportunities for individuals with disabilities to serve, because that is such an important piece of being the body of Christ, is being able to use our individual gifts to serve. So thank you for what you're doing there. I love, we're all about collaboration. So I love that you're coming up with ways to collaborate with other organizations.
Can I do one more?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, this is I think it's this Friday. I hope I get the right date right. Has anybody been to a silent disco?
Oh, I've never been. I think I know what you're talking about, but I've never been.
Well, everybody gets headphones, and you can change the channel. You can have a blue light flashing, a red light flashing, or a green light flashing, and you're listening to one of the DJs. And everybody who has a blue light flashing is listening to the same DJ, but everybody that's there can't hear a thing. But these people are just going crazy. Frankly, we thought it was a bad idea, but this will be our 3rd one.
Wow.
And it has been a fun way. Our folks who are noise adverse, they can turn the volume way down. In fact, they just put the headphones on and not listen to anything if they want to.
I think it's brilliant. I would much rather do that than go to a real disco. I'm just saying. So. And
and this is a collaboration with one of the other churches that has in the Greenville area that has a really good program for children and students with disabilities.
I think that sounds fantastic. I also wanted to say on your first point, like I want to thank God for putting people like Clay in your path, for putting the 5-year-old that pestered Linda to go to church. Like so thankful for how God has placed certain people in our lives that we wouldn't maybe have thought could change lives the way they have changed lives. All right, Amanda.
Ooh, let me unmute. Okay. Hi everyone. I just had a question. This is totally unrelated to what we've already been talking about, so I apologize if
That's what this
not-
is. This is idea share.
I'm just really curious. So I have been on staff at my church, doing disability ministry for 7 years, and I'm under the children's ministry team, and we're having some conversations about moving the ministry that I oversee off of the kids team, because it really doesn't make a ton of sense. I serve adults, I serve teenagers and families affected by disability. And I'm just curious if other people are on staff. I know a lot of us do this as volunteers, and I'm just curious, like, how does that work for those of you that are on staff in a church? Like, is it through kids ministry? Are you through somewhere else? I'm just interested to see how that's done across the board.
Okay, so I think Andrea has her hand up to answer the question.
Cool.
So we are Southern Baptist at our church. So we have a next gen team, and that includes our college, youth, children, and me. So I fall on, so I'm not under anybody. I'm my own thing at our church.
Gotcha.
But I
Yeah,
work closely with the kids ministry, because then we have our kids
Totally.
program under, but yeah, I'm my own thing.
Okay, yeah, because that makes sense. I mean, I'm so technically next gen, we're on that, but I also serve adults, and so there are just conversations right now about how are we structuring this, and I just
And
don't
I
really
also
quite
serve
fit.
adults. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's a little bit wonky, isn't it? Like,
Mhm.
I don't just serve the next gen, but yeah.
Yeah.
Sarah.
Thank you.
I
Andrea.
also do the same thing at my church. We have 5 campuses, but our program is kind of like our kids programs, like the big umbrella, and then our disability ministry is under that umbrella. And we serve kids as young as 3 right now, all the way to our oldest is like 52.
Okay, Sarah.
You're muted.
Oh, it says she's
Or
not.
I can't.
But
It
we
does say
can't hear
she's
you.
not.
You're gonna type it in the chat? Okay, I'll read it when you type. And who else would like to share while Sarah's typing? Amanda, I can tell you, so, I work at a church as well. So mine falls under, so the quote, special needs ministry does fall under children's ministry. And it's kind of its own thing as well. But technically it falls under children's ministry, but we changed my title to Director of Disability Engagement, because it's not
Okay.
just a children's ministry thing.
No,
I'm going to
totally.
read a couple things from the chat. So Tina is on staff, used to be under kids, but now have teens and adults. So moved under the ministry / outreach pastor. Thank you. And Sylvia is not on staff and serve all age populations. We used to be under children's ministry, but was switched to family life ministry, family relations.
Yeah, that's helpful. I think they're trying to well, for one thing, our children's pastor transitioned off of staff, and so there's that. But then also, I'm starting this day program for adults with disabilities this fall, and so it's like I've had 2 bosses, like the children's ministry, my boss over there, but then our missions team. So they're just trying to figure it out. And I'm Amanda. I'm also on a multi-site. We've got 6 campuses, and so it's just a little bit, it's wonky. So we're just
And
figuring it out.
It's one of those things, like for many churches, the disability ministry probably started out of children's ministry. Like, how do we serve these kids? But really, as we all know, I mean, disability ministry is like a across the board, like this is what the church needs to be thinking about. So it's hard to, you may be in one little area, but hopefully, helping across all the areas. Okay, Sarah says she's on
Right.
staff at a local church. Official title is early childhood director and have all special needs in her department. Currently up to age 14 and working on raising the age to adult. She's about to try to have special needs added to her job description because it's not listed anywhere. Interesting. Okay. And Allison is under the care team, which covers recovery and marriage ministry. She works with kids and students a lot, but she gets out of attending all their meetings.
That's the other thing. It's
Words.
like, all the meetings. It's like, I
Right.
don't need to go to every kid's meeting or
Right.
every student's meeting or every, you name it. But
Right.
anyway,
On the other
thank you
hand,
guys. That's super helpful.
yeah, but it's important that what you're representing and like the knowledge you have, like that's being represented, that you have a seat at that table as leadership is, planning events and thinking about some of these things. Andrea.
I was going to say, going back to the next gen thing, I'm glad that that's where they've placed me, because once a week we do meet all the next gen leaders. And because I do have people in every one of those ministries, I need to be at that meeting, so we're staying in touch with how they're doing, if they need more supports, that kind of thing. So I think I'm in the right place, at our church anyway. But I think I was originally put there because they didn't really know where to put me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm finding that's the case with a lot of us. Like I can see like family life and care team, like next gen, these all make total sense.
Right.
And I think I'm getting ready to go on to what they call the mission team, which also makes sense. Anyway, these global ministries where you're not just serving one specific age group. And I think that's how traditionally churches have broken it up. And it makes sense, but when you're not,
Yeah. And I guess like my feeling is wherever we are, whichever department we fall under, we really need to start or continue these conversations with all of church leadership so that we're all thinking about these things.
100%.
Yeah, and there's some ways to do that. I'm looking to see who's on the call. I want to see if I'm going to give anything away here. I got to participate in a Johnny and Friends is getting ready to launch a training that I got to participate in, like is to try it out, and it's going to be tremendous to have some of these conversations, with church leadership. All right, let's see. Sarah, is your hand still up or is that a leftover? No, okay. Linda.
Yeah, I think people kind of get pigeonholed about titles. Sometimes I have to roll my eyes at some of these titles. Like, I'm like, what is this? I mean, I'm just a missionary. I have bipolar and Asperger's, and my hearing is the worst thing that I deal with, actually. And it's just trying to motivate people, other people that have disabilities can serve. I mean, I've been over Ukraine 30 plus times. Who would think somebody with Asperger's and bipolar would hang out in Ukraine? But it's, we have to start motivating and encouraging that we are all part of one body and we're uniquely wonderful, made by him with unique gifts, and each of us are different.
Yep. So let's not pigeonhole anybody. I like it. I
mean, it's like everybody gets hung up on these labels. Like, I don't know, like I have Asperger's. I don't want to be called high functioning autism. That means somebody's low functioning. I mean, I like the word Aspies. I have been to the town of Asperg in Germany, so anybody lives there has Asperger's. So, but we just get caught up in this. Yeah, I have freckles, but I'm a child of God. I'm a servant of God, and that's what I have to focus on. And we have to, I don't know, I just have to roll my eyes at some of these like titles people are using, like catalyst. I'm like, that's like a lubricant in chemistry. What is that? Like, or like director of first impressions. I'm like, what in the world? What if the person's there again? But
Yeah,
yeah, I mean,
welcome to church life where we have to put a name on everything.
it's like, are we trying to one up? I mean, I'm from the fine art world, so I know all this crazy gobbledygook of intellectualizing everything. And it's like, I'm just like, let's just be children of God. We're to care for one another. We're to care for our community. And if we're not doing that, it doesn't matter who they are. They could be a homeless person, a drug addict, or whatever. But it's like, my therapist is like, you're a consumer. I'm like, what? Like, because I consume services. I'm like, I'm thinking consumer, like I'm going shopping. I don't want these services. It's like, I'm tired of being labeled. Like somebody's like, well, you can't use special needs anymore. I'm like, who said? Who told you? Oh, some person came into our church and said, were they a person that has children with special needs? No, they were I'm like, I'm done.
We've had a lot of conversations about this. You can listen to my podcast episode on that one.
I will check it out. It's like, I'm just like, oh my gosh, these people are nuts. But, I mean, other kind of evil things want to divide us up by labels. And if we try to focus on we're all one body, we're all here to serve, we have different abilities. I mean, I can't do certain things that I cannot be an pilot because of my mental health problems. But I have
a pilot, is that what you said?
There's a lot of things I
I
cannot
was
do.
there's a lot of reasons why I can't be a pilot.
Yeah, my dad wanted to give me a private pilot license, but since I've diagnosed mental health problem, they don't want you doing that. I understand that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of jobs I can't have, but does that make me less of a person? No, not in the eyes of God. I just have a gift, that.
And you're using your gifts, which is amazing. We're going to put the link to the blog post that Linda mentioned earlier. We're going to post that when we post this video. I have Skeeter and then Carrie, and I have to watch the time. I've got a meeting at the top of the hour. So Skeeter.
I just was thinking, I mean, a lot of us are at a station with our church where there's lots happening within the community of folks with disabilities. We're 10 campuses, and my understanding is that there's something over 200 families that are affected by a person with a disability that come to worship at one of those places. But 17 or 18 years ago, one mother called and said, we'd like to come and visit, but our daughter, and you just ... whatever you want to do. And my suspicion is a lot of the great big old church things. I know Young Life Capernaum was like that, and for sure, David's Table, one guy showed up 25 years ago. I think we need to continue to remember that it really is one person or one family at a time. And I mean, I think the best networking that happens with an exhausted mother who found something and shared it. And I'm pretty sure that's the way Grace Church thing grew. I know that's how David's Table grows. And I mean, you talk about titles. Right now, I got the best title in all of non-Christendom, the storyteller in chief.
Yep.
I was the executive director, but long story, some very smart people said that it was time for a change. And I am grateful for that. Just remember, it's thousands one at a time.
Yeah, that's so true. And if anybody's curious, if you haven't had a chance to talk to the folks at David's Table, you can listen to my podcast episode on that as well. So, because I got to sit down and talk to all of them. Carrie.
Hey, sorry, friends. I always end up sitting here just taking everything in. I forget that sometimes I have things to contribute too. I love our times together and just hearing from everybody. I just wanted to share really quick, Andrea, I know she just had to jump off, but had a question about getting churches in your area together. I lead a group, Minnesota Disability Ministry Connection. So I'm in Minnesota, we call it MDMC. Was started by Walk Right In Ministries in our area about 10 years ago, is now sponsored by Johnny and Friends Minnesota. So if anyone's interested in doing a network of churches like that, we have a very robust network that's gathering in Minnesota. We meet the third Thursday of every month from September to May, and then we take the summer off. But you could always go to Johnny and Friends Minnesota website. There's a full page of the network connection. And yeah, it's just such a great opportunity, not only to enhance what you're doing in your own church, but just to connect with like-minded leaders. And we bring in different speakers every month. And yeah, it's just a great time of connection.
Thank you
And
for
Johnny
sharing.
and Friends is great. Look at their website, see if you're on there as a resource. We did that search on the way home, and we weren't on there. In fact, there's only one church in the whole area, and we know that we're feeding them information about other churches and other groups that are ministering with families.
Yeah,
So
that's
make
great.
sure you're on there.
I remember that Walk Right In Ministries was kind of coordinating that, and I'm so glad that Johnny and Friends, they're really getting these regional groups meeting, and I think it's super important. I think we shouldn't be doing ministry alone. I think we need each other. I think that was a major point of the conference we just went to, and our reason for continuing to have this idea share. So, okay, I have to go get ready to present. We have to do for my church job the budgeting for this next year. So I have to go prepare for that meeting. Let me really quickly read what just got posted in here. It says, my church is small and people, especially in healthcare or disability, just pick up the engagement. Because I've been through my own journey, I'm good with listening and patience. Lots of people say I'm good in a therapeutic manner. I like that. I use individuals with challenges, but ASD people can both have experience where they are low, curled up in bed, withdrawn, or totally a life of the party. But some parents just experience the situations and profiles that need more patience. I'm also into security and have sensitivity to people with challenges and include them in the engagement protocol. Thank you for sharing that. All right. So we look forward to connecting with you again first Monday of the month. Don't forget, we also have a disability ministry video roundtable on the third Wednesday of the month. That's all at keyministry.org/events. And we'll be posting some more events coming up real soon. So stay tuned there. And I just really appreciate everybody participating today. So thank you, everybody, and we will see you next time.